You know, some poems are just beautiful words on a page, but others, they're like messages in a bottle thrown into the sea of time, just waiting for the right person to find them. Today, we're going to uncork one of the most powerful messages ever written, W.B. Yeats's incredible poem, When You Are Old. It's basically a love letter sent not to the present, but to the future.
So who's the guy sending this message? Well, it's none other than William Butler Yeats, a true giant of Irish literature and a Nobel Prize winner. The world knew him as a master with words, but this poem, this one gives us a really rare, intimate peek into the biggest and probably most painful love story of his entire life.
And this is the woman who the message was for, Maud Gonne. She wasn't just an actress. She was this fierce Irish revolutionary, and she was the great unrequited love of Yeats's life. He proposed to her multiple times, and every single time she turned him down. This poem is born right out of that heartbreak, that feeling of a love that was lost before it even really got started.
So what do you do when the person you love just doesn't see how deep your feelings are right now? Well, if you're a poetic genius like Yeats, you don't just argue about today. You send a message forward in time, straight to her old age, hoping that maybe, just maybe, one day she'll finally get the kind of love she left behind.
The poem kicks off not with some big, loud declaration of love, but with this quiet, really intimate scene. Yeats isn't begging or pleading, he's just asking her to do one thing. Imagine a quiet moment, decades from now, and just listen to what her future self might have to say. He asks her to picture herself as an old woman. Her hair's gone gray, she's tired, kind of nodding off by the warmth of a fire. It's such a sharp contrast to the vibrant, beautiful revolutionary he knew. He's totally setting the stage for a moment of quiet reflection. And let's be real, he's planting a little seed of regret.
And what's the trigger for this little trip down memory lane? This very book of poems he's writing for her. He imagines her grabbing it off a shelf, and as she reads, she starts remembering the soft look her eyes used to have. The book itself becomes a kind of time machine, a bridge back to a youth and charm that are long gone.
Okay, now this is where Yeats makes his big move. In the second stanza, he draws this incredibly powerful line in the sand between two very, very different kinds of love.
And right here, this is the heart of his entire argument. On one side, you've got the many admirers. They loved her looks, her moments of glad grace. You know, it was an easy love, but it was superficial. And on the other side, there was one man, that's Yeats, of course, who saw and loved something much, much deeper.
He loved her pilgrim soul. What a phrase, right? A pilgrim is someone on a journey, always searching for something more. Yeats is saying, I didn't just love you for being beautiful. I loved your restless spirit, your inner quest. I loved the very essence of you.
He didn't just love her when she was triumphant. He loved her in her sad moments too. He loved the sorrows of your changing face. This is his ultimate claim. His love didn't depend on her being young or happy. It was this eternal love for who she was at her core, something that getting older could never, ever change.
The final stanza is where the poem just builds to this absolutely heartbreaking conclusion. And here, Yeats uses the full force of his poetic power to show Maud Gonne not just what she might lose, but what she has already lost by rejecting him.
So he imagines her in her old age, sitting by the fire, murmuring sadly about how love fled. Did you notice how love is capitalized? That's a huge clue. It's not just a feeling anymore. Yeats has literally turned it into a living, breathing character.
This amazing literary device is called personification. Yeats takes this abstract idea, love, and gives it human qualities. Love doesn't just disappear, it actively runs away. It paces on mountains, it hides its face. It makes the loss feel so much more real, more deliberate, and way more tragic.
And the symbolism in these last lines, it's just so rich. The glowing bars of the fire, that's the fading passion of her life. The mountains where love is now pacing, that's a symbol of a spiritual, unreachable place. And by hiding amid a crowd of stars, love has become this heavenly, pure thing that's now completely forever beyond her grasp. She didn't just lose a man, she lost a love that was almost divine.
Yeats even uses the sound of the words themselves to make that feeling of loss even deeper. Listen to the phrase, hid his face. That repeating sound? That's alliteration, and it creates this soft, almost whispery sound that perfectly matches the sorrowful, murmuring tone of her regret.
So yeah, this poem is a deeply personal message from Yeats to Maud Gonne, but its real power, why we still talk about it today, comes from its universal truth about love and about time itself.
At its heart, this poem is a powerful, timeless warning. Youth and beauty, they fade. The admiration that comes with them is temporary. But the love that really lasts, the love that can handle wrinkles and sadness, is the love for the pilgrim soul. Yeats is telling her and all of us that if you let that kind of love go, you're pretty much signing up for a lifetime of regret.
In the end, Yeats leaves Maud Gonne, and all of us really, with this big question just hanging in the air. He presents a choice between a love that's fleeting and a love that's eternal. The poem doesn't give you the answer, it just asks you to think about it. What kind of love truly lasts a lifetime?